Recently, I had a conversation with another consultant and business owner who reached out to me to discuss an opportunity to collaborate with him and a particular organization. He claimed that this collaboration would help to grow my business. Prior to the conversation, I sent a few questions that I had. However, when we spoke on the phone, he pushed so hard to sell a big, broad vision without stopping to listen to my questions in their entirety or show genuine interest in learning about my firm's expanded resources and capabilities since we last spoke in 2020. Furthermore, I had to fight even harder to get answers to basic questions such as how much time is involved? What are the tangible outcomes? Can you tell me about the business audience? What are the expected results? What strategies are in place to ensure productive outcomes? How can I help specifically? And is there a budget to accomplish some of these things? When I would not give up on getting clear, straight, consistent answers that would help me to determine the right path to moving forward, he finally responded with, I don't know. We're just figuring things out as we go along, and just trust me. Shortly afterward, he began focusing on me personally and concluding, among several things, that I am the type of person who needs structure. My response, no. I need clarity. I'm Dr. Sarita Jackson, President and CEO of the Global Research Institute of International Trade. Welcome to another episode of Trade on Tuesdays at 2. And today's episode is titled, It's About Clarity. Now, clarity helps me to determine the best plan for the use of my time, energy, and resources with each activity towards scaling my business so that I can better serve the business and policy community. Now, I left that conversation even more confused, yet certain about my unwillingness to enter such a collaboration blindly. I personally felt the experience that one must have when being afraid to commit to entering the global market, especially without clarity or someone with the proper tools to share accurate, consistent, and credible information. One of the areas that businesses with whom I have worked have appreciated about my research services is the ability to provide the clarity needed to make the process less like trekking through the wide open desert and encountering a sandstorm which obscures one's visibility, and more like following a paved trail on a clear day with a clear end goal in sight. Now, research is not about numbers, statistics, and fancy reports, although these are part of the research process. Rather, research is about clarity. Clarity about the import-export regulations and compliance matters. Clarity about the opportunities and risks in any given market environment. Clarity about the trade policies and how they will impact one's competitive advantage. Clarity about the best strategy, with room for flexibility, of course, as one starts the import-export process. Now, let me be clear. Clarity does not equate to perfect information. Rather, clarity means having as much information as possible to minimize the risk of wasting limited resources, especially time. Now, having said all of that, here are my 2 tips for today. Tip number 1, customized global market research should provide clarity. In other words, that research should make sense for your needs and those of your business so that the most appropriate strategy could be developed and serve as a guide. Tip number 2, save time by walking away from any situations that deny you that clarity. In other words, engaging with consultants, advisors, etc., who will not take the time to provide the clarity that you need will only lead to costly errors during the export process and wasting your time. Well, those are my 2 tips for today. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Trade on Tuesdays at 2. I'm Dr. Sarita Jackson, President and CEO of the Global Research Institute of International Trade.